why are we humans born on this planet? What is the purpose of life? What is the goal that we are to achieve in this incarnation? These are some of the questions that often come up in the minds of those who are more spiritually inclined, those who have gone beyond just the seeking of material pleasures and have started to question the purpose of the human life. Yoga and Sanatana Dharma, that eternal culture of this beautiful Bharat Desh known as India, give us some very beautiful guidelines. There are 4 legitimate goals, legitimate aims in human life. They are called the Chaturvidha-purushartha, the reason why we are manifest. 4. These are Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Dharma is the responsibility we are to fulfill as a human being. Manushya Dharma. Once we are born human, to be human, to sustain that humaneness in us and serve the cause of the greater humanity. Dharma is the first reason we are born. And in fact, when we live our dharma as a human being, we start to burn up the karma, which of course is another reason we are born, is to burn up karma. Karma is nothing but action-reaction. And by fulfilling our dharma, we go beyond action and reaction, and we start to live as responsible human beings. The second, Artha. Artha is material prosperity. As a human being, we are entitled legitimately to try and obtain material possessions to serve our need. Now here, the terms and conditions apply part is serve our need, not our greed. Because as we know, there's enough on this planet to satisfy every person's need and more. But there's not enough to satisfy any one person's greed. Greed is limitless, infinite, like another quality called human stupidity. When we come to the concept of Artha, we are legitimately allowed to strive to have enough material support to manage our life efficiently. Having a job, having a family, having a house, having a vehicle for transport, these are legitimate. But then when we start to want more and more, that is where we shift from need to greed and we go off on an unhealthy tangent. Dharma is to fulfill our responsibility as a human being. Artha is obtaining the prosperity, the fulfillment of material needs. The third is Kama. Kama is the emotional fulfillment. We as human beings have a lot of emotional needs. These emotional needs are very much entwined with our mammalian nature. We want love, affection, closeness. We all love a hug. A hug sets off the endorphins and enkephalins, the feel-good hormones. Kama, in the positive sense, is the legitimate fulfillment of one's emotional needs, so that we can function at our highest level of efficiency and proficiency. Again, need and greed. When Kama, instead of just fulfilling our emotional needs, starts to become our creed, it starts to destroy our evolution. And at that point, karma becomes one of the deha doshas, the negative aspects of the body, and also one of the shatripus, the 6 enemies of the spirit. But as long as it is within normal limits, W and L, within normal limits, as long as it is within it, it is definitely legitimate. When we live as a human being, when we are a responsible human being, we will fulfill our material needs, Artha. We will be able to fulfill our emotional needs, Kama. And when Dharma, Artha, Kama have manifest properly, Moksha is within an arm's reach. In fact, the great Tamil poet, the saint, the most amazing Tiruvalluvar, in his Tirukkural, 1330 chapters, 1330 verses are there, put in 133 chapters. And these are further divided into 3 parts. Aram, Porul, Inbam. Aram is the equivalent in Tamil for Dharma, living a righteous life as we are meant to live. Porul is the equivalent of Artha, and Inbam is the Tamil equivalent of Kama. Aram, Porul, Inbam, he only describes the 3. He doesn't describe Moksha, the 4th, because in his view, when the first 3 are fulfilled, when you are living as a human being, fulfilling your material needs in the legitimate manner, fulfilling your emotional needs in the legitimate manner, automatically the 4th aspect, spiritual fulfillment, that point where we realize ourselves. The initial parts are the self-actualization that Abraham Maslow talks about, that we must be the best we that we can be. An artist must be an artist, a painter must be a painter, a musician must be a musician, a yogi must be a yogi, and of course, a human being must be a human being. When we actualize our humaneness, when we are the best human being that we can be in this incarnation, at that point, we are ready for self-realization, for moksha, for kaivalya, nirvana, mukti. That point where we can go beyond. But before we go beyond, we need to deal with what we have. And that is why the first 3 components, Dharma, Artha, Kama, are so essential. How can we fulfill our Dharma? The only way is by conscious living. Conscious living is the living that is in the now. It is common sense living. You can actually term Dharma as common sense living. Living in the now. Doing what needs to be done at the appropriate time, in the appropriate manner, for the appropriate person. When all of these pieces of the jigsaw puzzle come together, linked, glued together by consciousness, at that point, we are manifesting our humaneness. We are manifesting that absolute realization of who we are. That when all of these parts come together with the glue of consciousness, at that point we actualize ourselves. And when we have self-actualized, we are then ready. We are on the threshold of self-realization. And this is why it is very essential that in modern times, we who are in the field of yoga do not run away to the forest or the cave. We cannot be away from society. We must live in society. We must be a good component of society. We must enable society to transform as we transform our own lives. When we live as we should, L-I-V-E, we are on the right path. But if not, that LIVE goes the other way and it becomes EVIL. Evil is nothing but living life the wrong way. The choice is ours. The choice to either live or evil is ours. The choice is consciousness. What are you going to choose? Okay? Let us